Sasha Banks has a new challenger following her retaining her women's championship. We're going to get right into who that is right now. So stay tuned. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, a wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are discussing Smackdown. It was a pretty decent show. We had Sasha Banks retaining her championship. We had some more Survivor Series team positions being filled. And, it was a pretty decent show, what we've come to expect from Smackdown over the last few weeks. We're going to get into every little bit that happened. So to hear more, stay tuned. Right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that is WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and make sure you hit the notification bell next to it so you get notified every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the review. So the show opened up with the big title show, the big title match. Sasha Banks versus Bayley. Can Sasha Banks retain her SmackDown Women's Championship? That was what this match was entirely about. And, once these two ladies get in the ring, it's going to be a really good match, regardless of the outcome, if it's the outcome you want or not. And that's what we got today. We had Sasha Banks really taking it to Bayley at times. Bayley at times looking like she's going to do whatever it takes to get her SmackDown Women's Championship back. But Sasha Banks was pretty resilient. And there were small parts in the match. I think there was a part in the match where Bayley hit a backstabber and then the belly to belly, and my heart dropped. You guys know how I feel. I've been thinking for the past week, is Sasha going to lose here? She hit the backstabber, belly to belly, or Bayley to belly, and Sasha kicked out. So that was a really good sign. We saw a frog splash from Sasha. We saw repeated attempts of Bayley still trying to get the upper hand, including going to get a kendo stick. The referee threw the kendo stick out the ring. Bayley then went and got her chair with the spray paint on it, tried to use it. Sasha kicked it out of her hand until eventually we got to the finish where Sasha Banks made Bayley tap with the bank statement. Sasha Banks retained her SmackDown Women's Championship. Absolutely brilliant. This has been a long time coming. And I think for now, this is going to put Bayley and Sasha, that whole story, on the back burner and just allow some other things to happen. Bayley will probably have some new competitors. Sasha Banks, new competitor, might have already been decided. We will get into that in just a second. There is a lot of chat, hearsay about maybe Bayley is going to win the Royal Rumble and it's going to circle back round to Bayley and Sasha at WrestleMania. Only what this story deserves, really. I mean, if Sasha didn't pick up the title last week or so, I would have said Sasha was going to win the Rumble. It has to be one of those two at this point. They have been fantastic all year long, and this story is brilliant. So, yeah, maybe it's going to be Bayley to win the Rumble. In the meantime, Sasha was actually leaving through the entranceway, walking back up the ramp when a returning Carmella came, super kicked her in the face, dropped her with an X Factor, and stood over her. So Carmella's looking really good. Obviously, she's repackaged herself as the untouchable Carmella, as we know. I'm really interested to see how strong she's booked. I wouldn't expect her to beat Sasha for this title. I think it looks like they're going to give Sasha a lengthy reign, especially that she's got over the first hump, which is defending it for the first time against Bayley. It really does look like Sasha's going to be holding this for a while. So Carmella, maybe, I want to see her strong, and then eventually, I guess she was going to lose. She was never going to win. But I don't know if giving her to Sasha Banks as maybe a first competitor is the best thing, as she's kind of just been repackaged. But it's good to see Carmella back. Good to add some depth to this brilliant women's division that we have on SmackDown. So that was the opening match, and it was a great way to open the show. You know, we often get long talking segments and stuff like that. None of that this time. We went backstage, and Kayla Braxton was hosting an interview with Jay Uso, and she was kind of poking at Jay Uso, and you know, all of this, you've kind of lost your identity kind of stuff. You're doing things on Roman Reigns' say so. And Jay Uso was taking a bit of offense to it. Kevin Owens had previously poked fun at Jay Uso for that before the interview had begun also. And Paul Heyman came and kind of stepped into the frame of the interview and said, "Did Roman Reigns authorize this interview you're having?" Jay Uso said, "What? I need to speak to Roman Reigns to just have an interview?" And Paul Heyman was like, "Look, Roman Reigns is looking for you. Let's go," sort of thing. And Jay Uso stepped away. Kayla took another kind of dig at him that he's kind of obeying orders and stuff like that. Jay Uso, obviously, he's a member of the regime now. He is answering to the tribal chief. So he stepped away from Kayla. He then had another backstage segment where he had arrived at Roman Reigns' suite, because that place is more than a changing room. And Roman Reigns eventually came out after a bit of back and forth with Paul Heyman. And Roman Reigns was asking Jey Uso, "What's all that about? You don't take an interview without my say so. If you can't find me, you ask Paul Heyman." So really kind of showing the lines of authority before it's down to Jey Uso. So that was something that's pretty interesting. And then Roman Reigns asked Jey Uso, and what was this stuff that Kevin Owens was saying? And Jey Uso tried to brush it off, "Oh, KO is just talking some rubbish, blah, blah, blah." Roman Reigns said, "No, he disrespected you. And if he disrespected you, it means he disrespected me. And if he disrespected me, it means he's disrespecting our family. So now we have a Kevin Owens problem, and you're going to have to deal with it." Roman Reigns told Paul Heyman to go and speak with Adam Pearce, or to go and get Adam Pearce. And it was pretty obvious that Roman Reigns was going to set up a match between Jey Uso and Kevin Owens. And we had that later on the night. So Roman Reigns really flexing his muscles, especially around Jey Uso, letting Jey Uso know who's boss here. Next up, we had Rey Mysterio versus King Corbin, and this was a qualifying match for the men's Survivor Series team. We haven't seen Corbin in some time, in some weeks, I don't think. And Rey Mysterio was all flustered before the match. He got attacked by Baron Corbin, King Corbin, before the match. He was flustered, looking for his daughter. He hadn't seen Aaliyah, and he eventually, because he was just so disorganized, he wrestled this match in like his backstage gear, a merch shirt. He was wearing the tracksuit bottoms. He was wearing Yeezys. He wrestled the match all dressed like that. This match wasn't great. It was really, what's the word I'm looking for? Busy. Too much was going on. Obviously, it was Rey Mysterio's whole panic, this, that, and the other. Halfway through the match, Seth Rollins came down to the entranceway and watched on from the entranceway. Dominic Mysterio was at ringside as well, watching Seth Rollins, making sure he doesn't involve himself in the match. There was a time when Baron Corbin left the ring and attacked Dominic Mysterio, who wasn't watching, got back into the ring. That kind of lit up Rey Mysterio a bit. But as Dominic Mysterio was down, Seth Rollins went over to beat up Dominic Mysterio, which caused Rey Mysterio to come out the ring. Rey Mysterio got back into the ring, and then he got hit by an End of Days, and that was it. Rey Mysterio was pinned, and Baron Corbin goes on to the men's Survivor Series team. I did think it might have been a bit better if we had Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins having to co-work together on the Survivor Series team. I thought that's the route that they were going to go. Obviously not. This is what we got. Like I said, the match just was a bit too busy. This storyline with Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins and all of this kind of stuff is just too much. Like, let's get to the blow-off we've been waiting for. Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. And, let's just end this, because Rey Mysterio can clearly wrestle now. So let's just end this, please. Hopefully by December, this is what they're going to do for December pay-per-view. Or maybe it's just going to be a match on SmackDown at this rate. Who knows? But we need the blow-off for this. So yeah, like I say, King Corbin moved on to the men's Survivor Series team. Next up, we had a women's qualifying match. But before we get into that, guys, if you're enjoying today's review, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button. In fact, smash the thumbs up button. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, it does a lot for the channel. It helps us thoroughly, and I thoroughly appreciate it every time you guys do that. So please smash the like button, smash the thumbs up button if you're enjoying today's review. We had a triple threat match: Ruby Riott versus Zelina Vega versus Natalya for a place on the Women's Survivor Series team. Now, unless I missed it, which I don't think I did, I failed to understand why Natalya was given another opportunity at the Women's Survivor Series team. Why? Why did that happen? She had a chance last week. She lost the match to Bianca Belair. Yes, she wasn't pinned or she didn't submit, but she had her chance, and why isn't there anybody else, sort of thing? Like, I do think it's a bit funny, but it might be an ongoing thing. The fact she didn't lose today's match either, so to speak. Maybe she gets another chance next week. Who knows? Maybe it's just going to be some ongoing story. But it was good to see Ruby Riott, Zelina Vega as well. This match should have been longer, especially because Zelina Vega and Ruby Riott are new to SmackDown. They should have done more to kind of showcase them. Ended in kind of similar fashion to what happened last week, where Natalya had a sharpshooter on Zelina Vega, and Ruby Riott had like some type of headlock, I think, on Zelina Vega. Now, what had happened was Natalya actually released Zelina Vega before Zelina Vega tapped, and then Zelina Vega tapped whilst Ruby Riott still had her submission hold in. So Ruby Riott was actually the winner and will progress onto the Women's Survivor Series team here. And of course, Natalya was furious afterwards, thinking that my win has been robbed again, sort of thing. So like I said, this will probably continue until Natalya is able to join the Women's Survivor Series match. She'll probably get another chance next week. So yeah, Ruby Riott with a pretty prominent position on the pay-per-view in the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team, which is good for her. I like Ruby Riott. I want them to do more with her. Next up, we had another Survivor Series qualifier match. This is for the men's team. It was Otis versus Seth Rollins. Again, this match wasn't the best match. Otis had a lot of, comedic spots in between, when Seth Rollins hits his stomach and he starts like gyrating and rolling around and dancing and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't anything spectacular. And again, it got not as busy as the first match, but Murphy came down to the ringside area, and Murphy was watching on as Rollins took it to Otis. And at one point, Otis was in the ascendancy and Murphy got up on the apron. And I don't think Rollins could tell whether Murphy was coming to attack him or going to attack Otis. All of a sudden, Otis went to attack Murphy. Murphy jumped down from the apron, and then Otis got hit with a super kick by Seth Rollins. He fell down to his knees, and Seth Rollins ran across the ring and hit him with a stomp, and Seth Rollins won. Seth Rollins is now on the men's Survivor Series team for SmackDown. Murphy went up the entranceway and left the main arena, went backstage. It showed Seth Rollins a bit of confusion at first with, he didn't know what just happened. Is Murphy on his side or not? And that continued, where Seth Rollins ran up the entranceway after Murphy and found him backstage and said, Murphy, I know what I just saw there. What's going on? Are you kind of rejoining me or what? Where do we stand with all of this? Murphy simply just pointed at Seth Rollins and said, Messiah, disciple. Seth Rollins got really excited and it's like, oh, wow, he's come back. He's seen the light, sort of thing. Seth Rollins asked him to do it again, and Murphy done it again. Messiah, disciple. So it looks like those two were kind of back together, but Seth Rollins walked off. He said, let's get to work. We got so much work to do. Seth Rollins walked away. And then Murphy, as he was kind of just watching Seth walk away, Aaliyah joined him. Aaliyah joined him and was pushing him like, I've backed you so much. You know, I was in your corner against my own family. Now you're like rejoining this guy. Like, what's going on here? Blah, blah, blah. She was really furious. Murphy eventually just caught her arms and just calmed her down and said, listen to me. I know what I'm doing. Just trust me. Go along with my plan. I know what I'm doing. This is for the greater good. I don't know what to think. Is Murphy playing Rollins? Is he playing Aaliyah? Like, is there an opportunity here that he's actually rejoining Rollins and now he's going to try and indoctrinate Aaliyah into this whole Messiah stuff? I mean, a lot of people have rumored that for a very long time. Is that what they're going with here? Or is he literally just playing Rollins so that Rollins will drop his guard and Murphy can attack him again or something? I don't know. They've already had one match between them. It's hard to tell. I think the more annoying thing here is that this story is somewhat taking yet another turn and not kind of being drawn to an end. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put it down below in the comments whether you think whether you think Murphy is going to betray Rollins, or is he going to betray Aaliyah or get Aaliyah to become a disciple as well as, you know, his girlfriend or wherever she is right now. Let me know down below in the comments. And last but not least, we had Kevin Owens versus Jay Uso, the match that Roman Reigns orchestrated, put together. Let it be known as well, these two are Survivor Series teammates, Kevin Owens and Jay Uso. So, yeah, Kevin Owens said that, you know, I don't take orders from anyone. This beating going to Jay Uso is coming directly from me. Really amped up. It was good to see Kevin Owens back to that kind of guy. He's been really soft in recent weeks, even wrestling in jeans and stuff like that. He had his full gear on today. Really was up for the fight. And the story mainly told in this fight was that, you know, it was a pretty even fight in some places, but where I believe Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman were looking on, watching backstage, it was a thing where Jay wasn't quite embracing the dark arts and he wasn't doing anything it took for him to win. And obviously, more importantly in the story, it's not just him winning, it's keeping the family on top, doing what he needs to do to win, to keep the family on top. So it was really interesting where all of a sudden, somewhere through the match, Paul Heyman joined him at ringside, and Jay Uso, you can immediately see the aggression in his fighting kind of went up. He was really going for it, sort of thing. I can't remember exactly what caused the distraction, but Roman Reigns' music, that's what it was. So Roman Reigns' music hit, and then when I guess Kevin Owens and everyone kind of turned to see what's going on the entranceway, you saw Jay Uso literally give Kevin Owens a headbutt in his groin area, downstairs where it hurts. So a low blow via his head, and Kevin Owens kind of keeled over. I believe he got hit with a super kick from there. He got hit with the big splash off the top rope, and then he got pinned 1, 2, 3. So Jay Uso got the win there. Paul Heyman was very happy on the outside following that. And then Roman Reigns came out. And then Roman Reigns stood in the entranceway as Jay Uso and Paul Heyman were walking up. And Jay Uso stood side by side him, And I kind of expected Roman Reigns to send him back down there and be like, finish off Kevin Owens, or Roman Reigns himself to go down there and let's really dig into Kevin Owens. But that didn't happen. Roman Reigns and his cousin Jay Uso just stood tall side by side with Roman lifting the Universal title over his head. And that's how the show ended. So, guys, that was your SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. We're really seeing Roman Reigns turn Jay Uso into this guy that he doesn't really want to be, but he knows this, or he's beginning to understand it's necessary that I am this person. And like I said at the top of the show, great to have Carmella back. She looks like she's going to be Sasha Banks' new challenger for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Great to see Sasha retain. And hopefully, like I said, we get a really good run here. I'm still interested for her to kind of turn heel within this run again and be the boss. You know, she's just the boss in name right now. She's not the boss in character too much anyway. She's kind of playing the face within her and Bayley's whole story. So now she needs to boss it up really, because she's gonna have a whole heap of challenges, and she's got to hold that belt to like about WrestleMania. I think she might hold it till beyond then, but definitely WrestleMania is going to be the big challenge when whoever is the Royal Rumble winner, which I guess at this point we can assume is Bayley, will be challenging her. So yeah, guys, that is your SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's go one statement here. So it's from Arpit. Hi Arpit, hope you're all right. It's time for the Usos to take the tag titles from whoever is the champ. So Street Profits are the champions. Jimmy Uso isn't back yet. Jimmy Uso will probably be back in January. So I assume once Jimmy Uso is back, that is definitely going to happen 100%. So yeah, guys, that was your SmackDown review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button, whether you're watching on Facebook or watching on I nearly said watching on SmackDown, watching on YouTube or watching on Facebook, hit the like button. It's thoroughly appreciated. And if you're new here, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And that is it. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.